story of the DA DJ.
The phenomena of the syndrome of animal collecting or addiction.
In court, Josh Marquis lays down the law. He's the district attorney prosecuting the animal neglect case against Vicki Kittles.
And this is your community radio station, KMUN 91.9. The time is 6:43 on a Friday evening.
But come Friday evening, Josh Marquis puts down the sound of jazz. That's right, the DA becomes a DJ on the public radio station in Astoria.
Smoke Gets in Your Eyes from Keith Jarrett's tribute album. And before that, David Benoit, Shadows.
Marquis done radio before. 20 years ago, he was the news guy, then sometime jock at a Eugene radio station. Since then, he's been a deputy in Bend and Newport before being appointed, then elected DA in Clatsop County last year.
It's so far removed from what I do, and it's so relaxing. I mean, I'm playing music I really like to listen to. I'm sort of in an isolated world.
Marquis volunteered to raise funds at KMUN shortly after he came to town, the replacement for deposed DA Julie Lenhart. When the station manager asked him to do a weekly show, Marquis figured it'd be fun. That might brighten the image of the Clatsop County DA.
If it sort of puts a human face on the district attorney, I don't think that's a bad thing either. I mean, this community has been through hell in the last year or two.
So on Friday nights, from the misty streets of Astoria to Svensson, Cannon Beach, and all the ships at sea, well, some of them anyway, jurisprudence fades into jazz. In Astoria, Jim Hine, the Columbia.
Mr. Marquis.
Thank you, Chairman Hatch, Senator Leahy, and honorable members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity to come here and speak to you today. My name is Joshua Marquis, and I'm the elected district attorney in Clatsop County. That's where the Columbia River meets the Pacific at the end of the Lewis and Clark Trail. And like General Edmondson, I'm a Democrat. I remember meeting Senator Leahy when I was a delegate at the Democratic Convention in '96, and he shared some of his experiences as a prosecutor in Vermont. And I want to commend... I remember. And I want to commend Senator Leahy for bringing this important issue up. And I'm no scientific expert on DNA, and I bring a different perspective than many of your other witnesses. I'm a working prosecutor who's argued successfully for the death penalty in one case, chosen not to seek it in many others, and I've even been a defense attorney in which I've successfully kept my clients off death row. I'm the person who has to make the decision whether to seek the death penalty in my office, and I'm the person who has to make the decision not to. So this is not an academic or esoteric discussion.
Exonerated means something, and this play is attempting to drive the public debate in this country by basically telling people that anyone could be snatched off the street, including you, and sentenced to death row.
And I'd like to just jump in here because I'm afraid that my friend Mr. Marquis is not learning the lessons that he should from a case like Kerry Max Cook. Now, let's first of all get context here. Just after Kerry was made to take this Alford plea, before he was
take the Alford plea?
Absolutely. You know, Judge Marquis...
Well, he would have gone to trial again, and he could have been found guilty and gotten the death penalty.
Listen, let me talk about
Barry,
the DNA.
Barry, hang on a second. I got to let Josh respond. Go, Josh. Start quickly if you can.
Let him respond to the DNA because he made a misrepresentation about it.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
hang on, Barry. Let Josh go. Go ahead.
Thank you very much.
There was semen found in the underwear
Barry.
of the victim.
You know, those who talk loudest don't always watch.
Go ahead, talk about the DNA.
I will talk about the DNA, and I guess Mr. Cook's on the line, so we can ask him. Why did Mr. Cook resist DNA testing all the way up until after his no contest plea?
Can I answer that? Yes, you can, sir. Barry, stop it. I'm going to let Mr. Cook respond.
No, that is a diversion. I'm not going to let Mr. Cook respond.
You're not his lawyer, Barry.
Tell them about Kerry Collins.
You know something, Josh Markey? You are only diverting. It is really, you have no shame to take a man like Kerry Max Cook and drag him through the mud with misrepresentations like this. You have no shame. He suffered too much.
All right.
Stop this.
All right.
You have no shame, sir.
All right. Josh Markey and
thank you for having me.
And Barry Scheck. It's always good.
No shame.
All right. It's good to see both you guys.
No shame.
Holly Skolnick and Kerry Max Cook. Thank you very much as well.
Marijuana is not the demon drug that it was claimed to be in reefer madness, but this goes way too far. Paul, listen. The one thing that makes this make no sense at all is marijuana is a weed. It grows everywhere. So if we have these stores and which are run essentially by growers, according to this, and by the way, have the Attorney General enforcing it, I've got news from Mr. Stanford. The Attorney General has no original criminal jurisdiction in the state of Oregon under the Oregon Constitution. Only the 36 DAs like me do, and that's just not in there. Well, I could probably repay you right now with a $10 bill for the amount of money that I spent prosecuting personal marijuana consumption in Clatsop County and pretty much the other counties. The fact of the matter is, I don't think we want to become the stoner state even more than we are. Decades of my life standing in front of judges and juries, begging them to believe women who say they've been beaten and raped. Now, we're in a different moment. I'm hoping this Me Too moment is not just transitional. But the two cases that haunt me the most are two cases I lost in 1988 and 1993, and I remember them vividly because I think I failed those victims, although I've stayed in touch, thankfully, with both of them, and both of those women turned out fine. They were both children at the time. You know, many things are still the same. I still love standing in what we call the well of the courtroom. That's basically in front of the jury, and a lot of that hasn't changed. I mean, the reason Law and Order is still in reruns after 20 years is there is incredible drama to what goes on in a criminal court, and it doesn't have to be a murder case. It can be a burglary, it can be a drug case, and it doesn't always have to be negative. Like I said, I am constantly astounded by the eloquence and grace of people who have had terrible things visited upon them for nothing that they did wrong. There's something about leaving gracefully, and I've been in office. This would be, if I'd run again, which I'm not, it would have been my 8th term. And there's a time to step back and let other people have both the challenge and the fun. And I'm sure there will be days when I get up and think I need to drive to work and park in my parking space, but my parking space won't be there anymore, and somebody else will be in my office. And my wife doesn't think I've really accepted that yet, and maybe I haven't. But it is a wonderful job in a way that's probably difficult to explain to a lot of people because it seems in some ways so terrible. But I've never found it that way. I've always found it very life-affirming.
Goodbye, moon. Goodbye, stars. Goodbye, bad guys. Goodbye, good guys. Goodbye, office. But remember, go is to return.